Hi everyone. I apologize for being a couple minutes behind schedule here. I have a giant sunbeam coming through my window and I was trying to not sit in it because I didn't want to cook in that during this live and not feel so great afterwards. And you wouldn't be able to see me either. So, hello everyone. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and share this on my personal Facebook page so that people can find us for this very special Lupus live support chat. Let's see here. Where am I going? Let's get this going here. More Than Lupus. Let's share this. Here we go. Awesome sauce. It's Lupus Awareness Month. Come learn about hashtag, hi everyone, lupus and hashtag autoimmune diseases. There we go. Awesome, guys. Hi, yay. Woo! Lupus Awareness Month. Can you believe it? These are my purple fireworks. Welcome all, everyone. As people start to log in, please do not forget to share this on your personal Facebook page. It is May 5th. It's Cinco de Mayo. It's also a day after my husband's birthday. So happy birthday once again to Nicholas Rosetta. It was fun celebrating him yesterday. So it's the 5th, which means we are 5 days into Lupus Awareness Month. And I'm so excited for all that we will be presenting here at More Than Lupus as we continue to shine a light on a disease that impacts so many people in the US and over 5 million people worldwide. Our hope is that today's chat will be shared quite a lot. If you are watching this right now, please write in the comment box that you shared this chat. If you're on YouTube, I'm not sure if you can, but just go ahead and say, I'm here, I'm sharing this information, and write shared or sharing in the comments section. And you will be entered to win some Lupus Awareness Month swag, including a copy of my special butterfly book. And if you don't have that already, I really hope that you will enjoy it. It's a book that I wrote to help explain lupus to the little loved ones in your life, whether it's if you're an auntie, or an uncle, or if you are a grandparent, or if you are a parent in some capacity, or you're around a lot of little ones and you want to explain this illness to them in a way that's honoring of their intelligence, of their emotional maturity, but not scary. So you just have to live in the US. That's the only thing I have to tell you. You have to live in the US in order to qualify, because I can't ship it overseas, unfortunately. So yes, really excited about that. You will be entered. We'll do it at the very end here. Our real hope with this month is that we can continue to provide support and resources to the lupus community and their caregivers, while pushing for more awareness and dispelling information out there that's false, and also prompting research that is absolutely needed in our medical institutions, prompting funding from our government and beyond. So that is our goal for the month. So let me go ahead and say hi. Happy Lupus Awareness Month. I don't know what noise that is. That's my firework noise, I think. I'll just put that right there so you can see it. It's kind of cute, right? Yeah, it looks like coming off of the banner there. If you are new, my name is Kelly. I am the creator and executive director of this small but mighty nonprofit called More Than Lupus. And if you're unfamiliar with More Than Lupus, we are a multi-ethnic, multi-generational, and international lupus community designed by lupus patients. Shocking, right? Yes. And lupus patient-centered, even more shocking. Place to connect and to grow and to hopefully inspire each other throughout the peaks and the valleys of our lupus journeys. And I say our because I have lived with systemic lupus and multiple lupus overlap conditions since the age of 11, and I will be with you today for this hour. How it usually works is that I will give you some information, and then I'll give you inspiration in a quote or a poem or a benediction for your day. And then I start at the top of the comments and I work my way down. So this is your time now in the comment box to post any comments, questions, concerns. Maybe you are newly diagnosed, or you're facing a diagnosis, or you're needing more help with getting a diagnosis. Maybe you are going to the rheumatologist for the first time, you want to know what to expect. Maybe you are having some weird symptoms and you want to know if anybody else has had those weird symptoms. Perhaps you are thinking of switching up your medications and want to know if anyone has tried Safnello or Benlysta or methotrexate or Rituxan or all of the normal things. Maybe you're just sick of being on steroids and want to know if anybody else is on the same boat. Post those things now. And then when I'm done, I start at the top, I work my way down, and I try and say everyone and let everyone's voice and comments be heard. You know, it's really important to, if you are at the beginning of your diagnostic journey, I'm so thrilled that you will be here and finding us and connecting, because we know how overwhelming lupus can be. And if that's you, if you're joining for the first time, or maybe you've been here a couple times, but you're just wanting to lean in more, we highly encourage you to check out morethanlupus.com. We have about 150 blogs, 98% of them written by lupus patients, with the other 2% being rheumatologists and therapists. Because navigating this illness is incredibly complex and tricky, and we understand that. So we have a little bit of everything for you on morethanlupus.com, and we try to continue to have our finger on the pulse of the patient needs with the content that we're posting. Our robust social media campaign, we post twice a day, pretty much, yeah, and with our lives, our support groups, and our YouTube content and everything else that we do. So we have a few updates before I get to the topic today. It is Lupus Awareness Month, guys. Can you believe it? 2025. I have some exciting announcements. We will be having our 6th annual Take a Loop for Lupus fundraising and awareness walk happening May 17th at Peninsula Park. That's where we've had it the last few years, at 10 a.m. We like to do it at 10 a.m. Because parking is usually easier to find, and the parking get crazy later in the day, and that's before peak UV hours. So we want to make sure that for many of us who have, hi Jill, hi Valerie, hi Robin, hi Va, Carrie, Laka, everyone's here today. That's awesome. We want to make sure that for those of you who have severe photosensitivity, that we get you out of the sun before those peak UV hours. So bring your family and friends. Last year had a great turnout. I really want to be even bigger this year. And if you can't come, you can always join us virtually and take a walk or loop around your neighborhood, your local park, or your school, or your backyard, and donate to us, because let me tell you, times are tough right now. As I've mentioned before, all of our funding was cut in January with the new administration, and it has been rough. It has been rough. So there you go. A lot of the big stuff that was cut trickled down to smaller nonprofits, and so we are definitely feeling the change and the tight crunch to continue to provide resources with literally no budget. So anyway, before that walk, though, I should say, the night before the Take a Loop for Lupus on the 17th, we are doing another event. Yes, back-to-back events. The 16th. And we are doing our Dance for a Cause fundraiser at the Edge Fitness in Wilsonville. Wilsonville is a city, it's right off the freeway outside Portland metro area. And it was a blast the last time we did it at this location. And our hope is to make it even bigger and attendance even greater than last time. Some of you may know that dancing is a love of mine. I love watching dancing. I will watch any dance documentary. I am obsessed with the Rockettes. I watch their Instagram. Right now they're doing auditions, which is really cool. And I took my first dance class at age 3. Dance was always something I did. I didn't do sports, I did dance. And I spent several nights a week at the dance studio doing tap, jazz, ballet, dance production. And then when I got my virus that triggered my immune system to turn against itself, more on that later, and my lupus symptoms came out, I went from the dance floor to the hospital floor within a matter of weeks. And it was very scary. But just because I couldn't dance for that time, and I was in a wheelchair, and over my 30 plus years of living with lupus, I've had varying levels of energy, mobility, range of motion, you name it. And I've never lost that love of dance. And I, in whatever capacity I have, when I can, still try to move my body. Movement is life for me. So, and that's one thing that Dr. Thomas has said more than once is dance fitness and dancing in general is very good for people who have lupus, who have been cleared by their doctor to do so, because it helps with joint strengthening. It helps with muscle conditioning, muscle memory. It helps with range of motion. It helps with creating circulation in your body and loosening your muscles. And it also helps with cognitive dysfunction because in dance, you're learning patterns of movement called choreography. And it doesn't have to be difficult, but just learning any pattern is very good for your brain and can help with lupus brain fog and memory and cognitive dysfunction. So anyway, all that to say, Dance for a Cause, Friday, May 16th, 6 to 7:30 here, not too far from me over here in Sherwood in Wilsonville at the Edge Family Fitness. Some wonderful instructors will be there to lead us through a great workout with some fun and easy to follow routines. So hopefully we'll see you there. Additionally, besides those two events, right, we have two virtual educational events happening as well. One on May 10th, which will be kind of a Q&A with our favorite nurse practitioner, Jill, who's here right now. I will be walking through with her some pre-submitted questions, everything from patient-doctor communication to how to manage your files to getting the most bang out of your buck in your doctor's office, all those things. And so it's going to be more of a conversation. And that's happening on Lupus Awareness Day. More details to follow on that because we're working with East Coast, West Coast. Want to make sure it's a time that's convenient for everyone. Also, speaking of Dr. Thomas, we are doing another event with Dr. Thomas, who I adore. He is our favorite rheumatologist here who wrote the Lupus Encyclopedia, and he will be going live with us on May 31st, which shall be interesting because I will be out of town, but I'm going to log in for that. And he is presenting what people need to know to live their best life with lupus. Doesn't that sound great? What people need to know to live their best life with lupus. And that's happening on May 31st, which is a Saturday. I think we're doing it at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which will be 4 p.m. Eastern. Okay? Lastly, if you haven't done so already, check out some of the ones that he has done with us so far, Getting to the Heart of the Matter, and also the one on lupus and kidney health as well. Both of those with Dr. Thomas are absolutely incredible. So many pearls of wisdom. Check those out on our YouTube. Okay? Hi, guys. Who shared? Okay, we got everyone is sharing. Everyone is sharing. That's fantastic. Before I get into today's topic, I'm going to get some water because my mouth is really dry. And then I'm going to do the disclaimer. So, BRB. I tend to get ahead of myself, so let's get this done. If you haven't been here in a while, or maybe this is your first time joining, please listen up. This important information for today's chat. The More Than Lupus Facebook Lupus Live support chats are aimed to be a positive and open space where you can both give and receive support and encouragement from others. I am not a doctor, therefore I cannot give you medical advice or diagnose symptoms that you may be experiencing. All that we can do at More Than Lupus is provide you with information and resources that hopefully you can take back to your doctor and have an open and honest conversation about what is the best course of action for you in your unique one-of-a-kind lupus journey. Additionally, this group is intended for those living with lupus or a lupus overlap condition. That could be a friend, a Oh, sorry, that could be like scleroderma, mixed connective tissue disease, fibromyalgia. Maybe you have a mix of like Sjogren's and Raynaud's and mixed connective, or you haven't been quite diagnosed. I think it's like some sort of undifferentiated connective tissue disorder. You're all welcome here. Additionally, this group is intended to provide support for those who know someone living with lupus, a friend, a spouse, significant other, neighbor, co-worker, family member, whoever. So if you don't fall into those two categories, though, this really isn't the right chat for you. Sometimes this chat, particularly on YouTube, gets shared in spaces that's not really appropriate or necessary. And then you'll see some comments coming through, but I get them off the grid on my end. And all you have to do is refresh your page, because I will tell you to do so. And don't take the time or the energy to be like, hey, you, what are you doing here? Get out of here, you. Keep a walking cat. Like, you don't have to do any of that, okay? I'll see it. Lastly, don't forget to share this, okay? We're going to have some prizes today. So the more you care, the more you share, the more other people are aware. Today, anyone who shares this chat and writes shared in the comments will be entered to win a Lupus swag bag that was given to us by PSC donors. And if you don't know who they are, we've got a blog on them. They're on our website. And I'm going to throw in a Lupus t-shirt and a copy of my special butterfly for you. Okay? Awesome. Well, guys, let's get to today's topic. Let's see here. Where did I put that? Let me just... you may have seen that we posted today about lupus being an autoimmune disease. Now, not too long ago, we talked a little bit about what that means, but I thought because of the content we're kind of going through every day to try and inform and educate, I thought I might go back and just highlight it a little bit for many of you who weren't there and who may want a refresher course on what it means when someone says lupus is an autoimmune disorder. Autoimmunity is now one of the most common disease categories, ahead of cancer, believe it or not, and heart disease, which is shocking. That's shocking, right? Yeah. And it's just thought, what a better time than to take a moment in Lupus Awareness Month and address this disease category that affects approximately 50 million Americans in some form. So autoimmune, the term, is a little bit of a complex meaning, because when you hear someone say autoimmune, you instantly think of immune, which makes you think of infectious disease, which makes you think of, I don't know, HIV or AIDS or, these different diseases. And though they all affect the immune system in some capacity, it's a very different type of infectious disease, and autoimmune diseases are two completely different categories. So let's go back and talk a little bit about the immune system first, and then we're going to talk about what auto means. I'm leaning forward like this because there's a sunbeam that I'm trying to, so I look like I'm awkward here. I apologize. It's really going to feel great on my neck later. I'm like, yeah, there's a big sunbeam here. Okay, so our immune systems are our body's natural defense systems, right? We've talked about this quite a bit. And one of the immune system's primary functions is to protect the body by going after foreign invaders and substances that should not be in the body, right? Things that enter the body, such as microorganisms or viruses or bacteria. Okay. Now, our immune system is designed, amazingly, to produce antibodies. Those are little white blood cells that they produce in pretty mass quantities. Okay. So white blood cells, which are antibodies, that communicate. They talk back and forth with each other, and then they go and they attack potentially harmful invaders. So they convene, they come up with a plan, and then they go attack, 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 like foot soldiers, like an infantry, right? Now, the problem happens when, in some instances, immune cells mistake their plan of attack. And they actually attack the good guys instead of the bad guys. They attack the good team, not the bad team. They attack their own soldiers and not the enemy line. All right, that's all I've got for this war analogy. Moving on. So in autoimmunity, your immune system thinks that your normal healthy cells are a threat to the body in some capacity and go after them as if they were foreign invaders that are harmful. And this can lead to the development of an auto means self disease, an autoimmune disease, okay? Self-immune disease, think of it that way. Mine are mouthy, you need a timeout, that's great. Now, autoimmune diseases come in all shapes and forms and all different levels of severity. Some are mild, moderate. Sometimes you don't even know you have one, and then it can be really bad. It's a broad umbrella of disorders and diseases and related disorders where a person's defense system, the immune system, attacks their cells by mistake. And it is, here we go. I got a little picture here. This is from Very Well. So here you can see a normal immune response. An invader or a virus or bacteria or toxin enters the body, and then the immune cells, the white blood cells, those are lymphocytes. They make antibodies that fight. They fight, those little white cells fight against the virus or the bacteria or the toxin. Yeah. Now, if you look to the pinkish diagram, the immune system creates antibodies that attack your own cells. And this happens because the foreign substance resembles bodily substances, that normal body cells become altered through genetic variances, or the white blood cells, lymphocytes, malfunction and make abnormal antibodies, or a normal amount of antibodies, okay? So there we go. There's a nice little picture for you if you're visual learners. So most healthy immune systems can distinguish self from non-self, can distinguish, oh, that's a foreign invader. No, that's my normal tissue, right? Interestingly, some natural autoimmunity occurs in everyone to some degree, but in most people, it does not cause problems. It does not cause conditions or diseases. Unfortunately, there are various factors that can lead someone to move outside of that normal immune response and develop an autoimmune disease. And when that happens, the immune system can become really overactive and turn on the body's own tissues. And when that happens, it causes inflammation. And the inflammation, that's what leads to the pain. It can cause various symptoms and disease manifestation. It can cause fatigue, and it can cause joint or organ damage. The tissue damage is what causes the symptoms and what causes the pain. And then the way that your body is overworking causes fatigue. Okay. Now, they don't really know exactly why autoimmunity happens, but they believe that these predisposed genetics, these genetic variances that many of us have, dozens of different genetic variances linked to rheumatic diseases such as lupus, combined with the exposure to bacteria or viruses or toxins, and maybe a drug reaction or a hormonal reaction, can trigger your immune system, which was normally functioning before, to become autoimmune. And this process causes the disease manifestations. Experts think that the inflammatory response caused by the agents that enter the body, these foreign agents, provoke the body into an autoimmune reaction. Many of us have some catalyst that we can think back on our timeline of our health history and say, well, I never felt totally wonderful or great. I always felt like something was kind of simmering at the surface, but then but then I came down with, or but then I had a pregnancy or a baby or a trauma. For me, it was Epstein-Barr virus that caused mayhem. And after I had the virus for weeks and was out of school, came back and my knees were swollen and I tried going back to dance and I couldn't do it. And I'd be locking up, my knees were swollen and hot, and then I'd fall because I got really weak and I had headaches and I had cognitive dysfunction. I couldn't remember my name. I was super tired all the time. I was sensitive to being out in the sun. I just felt awful. And that was my lupus symptoms coming out. Okay. And it started to spread to my other joints. So there are different types of autoimmune diseases. And sometimes I've heard, and I'm not an expert here, but sometimes what I've heard is there's a preference to categorizing autoimmune diseases into organ-specific and non-organ-specific conditions, like systemic. For example, like some manifestations destroy a certain cell or a certain tissue type that interferes with organ function, like with autoimmune thyroid disorder, Hashimoto's disease. That goes after your immune system, goes after your thyroid hormone producing cells. That's it, okay? Now, other autoimmune diseases like type 1 diabetes, that goes after the pancreas, or Aspen's disease goes after the adrenal glands, or vitiligo goes after the pigment producing skin cells. And so it's usually one major organ in the body. That's organ-specific autoimmune disease. Now, non-organ specific disorders, this is where the immune system process is widely spread out and can systemically impact the body, which means multiple systems can be impacted, like with us. Aren't we so lucky? With lupus, the joints, the skin, the cardiovascular system, the kidneys, the lungs, the brain, you name it, right? It can be impacted. So that's a non-organ specific. It's several organs impacted at one time. Okay. Other diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, which you would think, oh no, that's organ specific, right? It's only the joints. No, rheumatoid arthritis can impact many parts of the body. Dermatomyositis, scleroderma is not just a skin rheumatic disease. Scleroderma impacts the lungs, can impact many other parts of the body systemically too. So who are most impacted? Well, we know that autoimmune diseases can impact anyone. However, women seem to be the most susceptible. If you can see that there are 80%, approximately 80% of all patients diagnosed with autoimmune diseases are women. 5 to 10% of autoimmune diseases cluster, so which means that you have more than one. Isn't that special? 24 million people in the US have autoimmune diseases that infect more than, and they have like autoimmune antibodies. So this is kind of interesting, right? However, women, per usual, seem to be the most susceptible. It can also vary by race. African American women are 3 times more likely to get the disease lupus than white women. Lupus is more common in, indigenous and Alaska Native, Hispanic, and obviously Asian cultures. Fibromyalgia is a disease that is twice as likely to impact women than men, and now that's being looked at as an autoimmune disorder as well. And so with this amount, this disproportional impact with women, it's kind of interesting and has made me very curious over the years why that may be. And I'm not a researcher or professional medical scientist at any means, and I like to stay in my lane, but I did a deep dive into some research, and some of the things that I found were kind of fascinating as to why autoimmune disorders may impact women more. And it could be that the significant number of genes originating from the X chromosome creates a greater possibility of more mutations. So we have more genes on the X chromosome, which means that we're susceptible to more gene mutations, which means we could have more genes that are variations that are linked to lupus. One cause is related to the numerous genes on the X chromosome that are related to many of the diseases that occur more commonly in women. This puts women, I'm looking at my notes here, at a greater risk for developing autoimmune diseases solely due to women having 2 X chromosomes, whereas men only possess 1. So we got all these extra chromosomes, all these extra genes on that second X chromosome. Okay. Now, another possibility is that autoimmune diseases tend to affect women during major endocrine shifts in the body, such as puberty, such as pregnancy, such as menopause. So the interaction between the immune system and hormones and other organs in the body seem to interplay. And since women experience more hormonal changes every single month during having babies, this and menopause, aren't we lucky? This may be another reason why, or theory why autoimmune diseases are more prevalent in women. Yeah. Also, it has been proven through evolution that women typically mount a more vigorous immune response than men to infections and vaccinations, which leads to men having more infectious diseases than women. So, at least we have less infectious diseases, but I don't think that's. So we, over time, and to survive as a species, have had to adapt to having a more robust autoimmune response to things that come into contact with us and enter our body. So we produce higher levels of antibodies. And in the case of autoimmune disorders, and think about even today, not to be gender specific here or to stereotype, but the mom is the one that doesn't get to rest, right? The woman usually doesn't get to rest. She's the one that has to, even if she is sick, has to take care of everything and do everything, or be the caregiver. Historically, I know I'm being a little gender stereotypical here, and I apologize. But over time with evolution, the body has learned that you can't be down, so you have to, get that immune system working. You need to get over that fast and get back to doing what you need to do to survive and to take care and to be the caretaker. It is kind of what your body has learned, which is really interesting. And in the case of autoimmune disorders, this tends to backfire on us. But let's be clear once again, men do develop autoimmune disorders and autoimmune diseases. And in the case of lupus, men can be quite complicated cases and very, very severe. So now, treatment options. Treatment options here. If this is the response that our immune system either through time has learned to do, or because we have these extra genetic variances, or the fact that we have some genetic variances and then we were exposed to all these foreign invaders, how do you treat it? What do you do? At very least, how do you manage it, right? How do you manage it? And I wish I could say that there is this one size pill that fits all, and you take it and it works for me and it'll work for you. And unfortunately, that is not the case. Autoimmune diseases are very complex and nuanced, as we know, but many of them can be managed and managed well. So there is hope there. Because every person, though, their immune system, their genetics, their genetic mutations, their environment is different. Treatment can be different and unique for each person's autoimmune disease and their symptom needs. So there are many medications that are used to treat autoimmune diseases depending on if it's organ specific or non-organ specific. So like if it's organ specific with, let's say, type 1 diabetes, insulin injections is usually the first thing that they do need to do. Okay. If you have like sickle cell, there's plasma exchanges or blood transfusions. There's also immunosuppressants. There's pain medications in the case of different disorders that cause a lot of joint pain. So here's kind of a list of some examples that are used to treat autoimmune disorders. Now, this varies, as I said, from person to person. There are medications for depression and anxiety. There's sleeping medications. There's non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. There's steroids. There's IVIG. There's so many, depending on, like I said, whether it's organ specific or non-organ specific. So The other thing for an autoimmune disease that I'm taking from the good book, the Lupus Encyclopedia, is that Dr. Thomas wrote his lupus secrets list, and you can find this at www.lupusencyclopedia.com. I'm just going to. Is it going to let me? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Sleep hygiene, extremely important. That is one thing that you cannot mess with. Your cells are working so hard every day long. Your own immune system is kicking your own immune system's butt all day long. It's going to make you tired. And the last thing you need is to have a terrible sleep hygiene routine where you know you've gotten yourself some terrible bad habits. You can't get to bed. I know it. I get it. I understand. You toss and turn because you're in pain. You've got restless leg from the medications are interfering. Do what you can. Do everything in your power to set up a good sleep hygiene. That means going to bed at the same time, putting on that humidifier, putting on those sleep sounds, doing your meditation, putting your phone away, having that relaxing, calming Epsom salt bath or whatever it is you need to do, or your steamer, whatever it is, and make sure you do it almost verbatim every single night so your body gets into a good rhythm. It's so important. There's a sleep hygiene handout through the lupusencyclopedia.com. Your body needs that rest to restore. Your body needs that rest because it's working so dang hard all day long. Those cells, that mitochondria, all of your immune system, it needs to replenish, restore, relax, okay? Get your sleep. Also, there's certain things that are highly, highly detrimental to your health if you have an autoimmune disorder, and that's cigarette smoke. Smoking cigarettes and smoking anything in general is terrible for autoimmune disorders, unfortunately. And I know it's a hard habit to quit. And I do not want to be like, just quit smoking. I understand. And it's something that we've done throughout history. I understand. There's cultural significance to it. There's history to it. I understand. But if you can, try to quit smoking because it's terrible for your immune system. Also, I'm not going to say lose weight because I hate that. But if you've been told that your BMI is in an unhealthy range for your frame, and a doctor or doctors feel that it is it's infringing on your health, it's time to do what you need to do to be proactive and not reactive with that, okay? Vitamin D is also essential. Sunscreen. Eating an anti-inflammatory Mediterranean diet has been shown to help with autoimmune disorders. Taking your medication as prescribed. Yeah. And working on decreasing stress. So all different types of doctors treat autoimmune disorders depending on, if they're organ specific or non-organ specific. You may see a rheumatologist, a gastroenterologist, a endocrinologist if you have diabetes, a dermatologist, a pulmonologist. You may see a whole bunch of them. All right. And here's some great research here. I love the Autoimmune Association. They have such great stuff. Their big month is March, which is, we talked about it back in March, but I like going back and hitting on these things for awareness during the Lupus Awareness Month. And we know living with an autoimmune disease can be a lot to manage. And having an overactive immune system is tricky because your body is fighting itself so hard all day long that you're more susceptible, especially if you're taking medications to lower that overactive response to infections and to viruses. So it's like, wait a second, you're attacking my cells by mistake while the bad guys just slipped into the door, right? Just broke into the house. And now I've got a cold that turned into a massive sinus infection that turned into pneumonia. Thanks so much. I joke, but it's rough, right? And, that's why COVID was really tricky as well, because I don't trust my immune system. It's not worked for my advantage for a very long time. I'm not going to just pray that herd immunity isn't going to take me down. So, there was the whole thing with the vaccines and all of that. And wearing a mask and getting yelled at for wearing a mask, all those things. everything can be an increased risk with an autoimmune disorder. That's what I'm trying to say. And the most basic, simple thing you can do to protect yourself is to wash your hands, to keep a safe distance from people who you think may be sick, and to wear a mask if you feel you need to wear a mask. And don't worry about offending other people. Just let them do them, and you can do you. And to do all the things that you can do within your power to live the best life you can and take care of yourself, take care of your body. You've only got one life to live, people. Yeah. All right. So that's what I have for autoimmune disease today. I'm thrilled that many of you stuck through all of that. And really happy to give you a little quote. And then I'm going to start at the top, and I'm going to get you into our spin the wheel and see who's going to win our special LAM Lupus Awareness Month 2025 giveaway. First giveaway of the month. Okay, this quote is from Anne Lamott, who I adore. Here we go. I adore. And she said, "Hope begins in the dark. The stubborn hope that if you just show up and try to do the right thing, the dawn will come. You wait and watch and work. You don't give up." I don't know why that's like making me misty. Hope begins in the dark. The stubborn dark that if you just show up and try to do the right thing, the dawn will come. You wait and you watch and work, and you don't give up. I think with this illness, and golly, if I take a moment and just stop and reflect on all of those dark times, those dark days, I can also see those moments where it would have been very easy for me just to give up. And to be like, this is it. This is the life that I'm living. This is the pain. This is the isolation. This is the frustration. This is all my time being dedicated to no longer being with my friends or at school or dance class, but going to tests and MRIs and being in the hospital and doctor visits and physical therapy and getting poked and prodded and treated like a patient file and not a person. And as a child, not really being listened to. This is it. But just knowing, and some part of me, even in those darkest days, just waiting and watching and knowing that I just need to do one thing right. One movement, one motion, one forward thought of continuation, and the dawn will come. And it did. And it did. And then the next day, and the next day. And some days, when I am moving my body in a way that I never thought I'd ever be able to before, and I know many of you probably are there right now where you think this is it, I can reflect and be so grateful that I didn't give up on myself back then in the hardest times. I had a stubborn hope, and I hope that you reflect on your stubborn hope today and don't give up on yourself, because your life is worth living, guys, and your passions and everything that's in you doesn't go away because you have this illness. Guys, let me just say something. Everybody has their lupus. Everybody has stuff they are dealing with, whether it's trauma that they haven't talked about, whether it's, family drama, whether it is mental illness, whether it is a traumatic event, whether it is, cancer or diabetes or whatever the case may be, everyone has something. We're all just living this chronic condition called life. And let's, for the love of chocolate, make the most of it, right? Before it's gone. This week, there's 3, I've done, I do flower arrangements, passion of mine. I've done three things for people who have passed away, and most of them was pretty sudden. It is very worth reminding to stay in the moment and to be aware that there are no guarantees in life. And I posted something saying, you know, flowers have a finite amount of time on this earth, and so do we. And let's be glad at the time we do. And to do the things that bring you joy and stop caring what other people think. Who cares if someone says to you, you have lupus, you shouldn't do this, or you shouldn't do that. No one has the right to tell you you should or shouldn't do anything or look a certain way or act a certain way because you have an illness. It's none of your flipping business. Okay? Sorry, I feel like I need some more coffee, and that's probably why I'm getting a little salty here. Anyway, guys, let's do the drawing. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Okay, I'm pulling up my you have to live in the US. Okay, make sure everybody here lives in the US. I'm going to send you a copy of my special butterfly, and let me get my little spin the wheel. Here it is. Keep hitting this cute little thing here. Continue. Here we go. What? It's making me pay for this app now? Oh. Oh, wait, never mind. Maybe it's not. Okay, here we go. Who shared this today? Laca? Carrie? Sorry, Bob, I can't send it to Bangladesh. I'm so sorry. Robin. Valerie, did you share? Valerie's joining from Florida. Oh, yeah, okay, great. Okay, Irish Cobrador. I'm just going to put in Irish. Like, you're in the US, I hope. La la la. Did I miss anybody here? Robin. Micah, hi. Jill. Okay, here we go. Oh no, guys. It's making me pay for this. Oh, this is so annoying. I gotta do it the old-fashioned way now. Write on pieces of paper here. Isn't that just something? One moment, please. All right, I gotta do a piece of paper, old-fashioned way. So. Let's do it. All right, I'll do this again. Thanks for staying. Carrie. Laca. I could just do it after we log off, but that's okay. We'll do it together. Valerie. I'm making them all even, so they all seem the same. Irish. This is your last chance to share this. Robin. Oh, Laura. Okay. Perfect, Jill. Let's see. Micah. Robin. And Jill. Okay. Now I will put it in my little bag here. By the way, you're going to get a Lupus Awareness shirt. You're going to get a water bottle. You're going to get hand warmers, sunglasses, and yes, you still need hand warmers, even though it's the sun. There's a little. And then there's a couple more goodies I'm going to throw in there as well. So I'm going to put these all in here. Ready? My sound effects today are amazing. Okay, the winner is Laura. Can you see? This is Laca, which is really Laura. This is really challenging. This is like, there you go. Laura, yay! Laura, please send us your address and we will ship this out to you. And I will send you a copy of my special butterfly. Woo-hoo! Awesome, guys. That's you. That's you. Congratulations. That is so great. Well, thank you for joining for this hour, our first Lupus Live of Lupus Awareness Month 2025. Stay tuned for lots of informational content coming your way. And yay, fantastic. And we will be back with you next week, same time, same station. And yeah, so let's go, people. Woo-hoo-hoo. And also, too, if you feel so inclined to donate, we would really appreciate any and all donations. They all go back to the lupus community. We don't have a paid staff here. It is me working tirelessly behind the scenes to continue to keep us going, to allow us to continue this online platform that's connected so many across the world. Have a wonderful day to you too. Robin, Carrie, have a great Mother's Day as well for you mother types out there, and celebrating moms, being moms, all of that. Enjoy, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye-bye.